Hey, hey, Universal Guide to Being a Well-Balanced Solopreneur. I am back for day 2 of the Share Your Message Challenge. And so yesterday we talked about making a priority. So how do you make things a priority? You schedule it in and you figure out why you're doing it in the first place. Once you've got those two, it makes it a lot easier to get it done. Today we're talking about the second thing that you need to worry about when you go to create content, and this is understanding your audience. Now, I could go deep dive into marketing 101 and talk about demographics, but oh my God, that's boring. So there's an easier way to do it, and there's a way to do it that kind of bypasses all of the other information that you're supposed to know. As you know, I don't play by the rules in this group, and so I'm doing things a little bit differently. So the old school way of doing demographics was to understand your audience on a surface level. So what magazines do they read? What TV shows do they watch? What coffee shops do they visit? What kind of trends are they into? What shoes do they wear? All that stuff. More of the material, physical world than actually what's going on. Hey, Megan, are you laughing at me? Air quotes. Uh, so instead of doing all that surface level, material world things that your client may or may not be interested in, and really not getting the information that you really need to understand and know your audience, there's a better way to do it, or better, maybe not the word, but a different way to do it. And these are the kind of questions that I start asking when I'm developing a new product or service, when I'm developing a new content piece, anything like that. So the questions I ask are, I pretend that I'm sitting across having a cup of coffee with this person. So it's one person, not a whole bunch of people. And I ask, what does this person struggle with the most? What are the language are they using? What language are they using when they complain about this, or when they're talking about this problem that they're suffering with, or anything like that? What words do they use? What questions are they asking? Are they asking questions that are directing you towards the problem, or are they asking surface questions and maybe there's a deeper problem? Things to think about, right? What language do you use when you speak to your clients? Because if you're using language in your content that's completely different from the language you use when you speak to your people, there's a disconnect there. So that you need to start thinking about what language you normally use. So when I write content, I write as if I'm speaking. And it's fun, it's playful, it's frolicking in the meadow. There's those air quotes again, Megan. So it's definitely important to think about the language that you use so that there's a consistency in your content. What are the things that you teach? That makes your content a lot easier if you think about what things you normally teach. If there's something that you talk about on a day-to-day basis, there's your content. It makes it a lot easier. What questions do you ask of your clients? So when you're talking to one of your clients on a call, do you ask them direct questions? Do you ask them surface questions? Do you dive deep? What kind of questions are you asking them? And then what are the top 10 or 5 or 15 things that you would most love for your client to know? So you can make this a series. So you could do the 10 commandments, which I did the 10 commandments of content creation. I also did the 10 commandments of getting shit done. It could be 5 commandments. It could be 5 tips. It could be 10 things not to do, whatever it is. But you can start creating a series out of these top 10 or 15 or 5 pieces so that you can actually plan out your content for 5 weeks or 10 weeks or 15 weeks. So you see how we start to create a pattern here. Oh, thanks, Megan. I'm glad that you're getting value out of that. That's awesome. See, content creates value. Yay. The next question you could ask is, what makes you unique? What makes you stand out and what makes you different? The online world is so chaotic and there's so much free information, there's so much content. You need to stand out. So what makes you unique? What makes you different from everybody else? And start using that in your content. The next thing you want to ask is, why do your clients come to you? Specifically, and dive deep into this. Don't just say because I solved their problem. Why do they come to you? What is that deep burning desire that they need to work with you? specifically? So those are some questions that you can really ask. So for today, your homework for this challenge is literally to just use those questions, use the questions that I shared in the email training this morning. And if you're not on that email list yet, the link is in the description. So you can just enter your name and email address and you'll get access to those emails. So just do some journaling. Do some journaling around these questions. Really dive deep. And if you don't know who your audience is, or maybe you don't have any clients yet, that's a possibility. It's okay. Start doing some research about people who are in your industry and start looking at their content. Now, don't copy their content, but it will start to flush out some ideas, which you then can take to those questions and do some journaling and create content around you specifically and how you solve a problem, because the way you solve problems is going to be different from everybody else. So you can definitely get ideas from other people, but don't just take what they do and try to do that, because that's boring. It's just not going to work. So make it unique, make it different, stand out, make a difference. That's your homework for today. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to come back to them. And I'll be back on tomorrow at 10 a.m. I think, yes, 10 a.m. to talk about day 3 and the Share Your Message Challenge. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.